With Lonzo, for a variety of reasons, the fact that you handpicked him and he's there in L.A. and you're bringing back Showtime and all the stuff with his dad. I mean, every game there's such a microscope on him. It feels like every single game he plays is a referendum on whether he's that good or he isn't. What kinds of conversations have you had with him about all of that pressure and all of that attention?
Well, Mike, that's a great question. And what I try to do is just really say, hey, just play your game. Because born and raised in Los Angeles, always wanted to play for the Lakers. And then, like you said, LeVar, making comments. I think that going in, we thought that LeBron James was the biggest rookie ever, in terms of most publicized. And then now here comes Lonzo Ball in terms of publicity-wise, and because of social media and all that, he was a guy with a target on his back because of his father and being drafted number 2 pick. And so I think he's handled it well. And, of course, he's not shooting the way he would like to shoot, but I think that that will come. We saw the other night he hit a couple threes. He shot the ball well. What we want him to do, where he's at his best, is when he is pushing that basketball and when he is relentless at pushing it. And so, and then he all his game really comes together when he's doing that, when he's playing with aggression and he's going downhill. And so just play that way, play your game, and then let everything else come together. And I tell you what, though, the guys really love playing with him because if you're open, he's going to get you the ball. And that's the type of guy these guys want to play with, pass-first guy. Also, he's a winner. He's won at every level. So we know that once we surround him with all the pieces like we have, like I said, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, all the young players we have, and then we have cap space that we clear so we can sign a couple of veterans hopefully next offseason. Then we're moving into saying, hey, we're a playoff team and we're a championship team.
Yeah, let's not talk about anybody potentially you can bring in.
No.
We don't want to go down that road again.
No. We don't want to say that Magic Johnson on Mike and Mike got in trouble, got fined. We don't want to be doing that. Not on your last week and everything.
I'm with you, and you're so right about Alonzo. Watching him play, it makes players, I think, hustle more, knowing if they get just a bit open that he's going to find them with the ball, and it is fun to watch his vision on the court. But in a general question, in my sport of football, sometimes when a quarterback comes in with a different kind of release, a throwing point, the coaching staff is kind of at a dilemma. Do we try and mess with it, or do we kind of let it be? A guy like Phillip Rivers, everybody talked about his delivery. They let it be, and the guy, has had a great career. Others, they try and tweak and change. How does it work in basketball? We all see how Lonzo shoots the ball, and as you say, he's struggling shooting. Do you try and change what he does, or in that sport, you kind of just let somebody work through it how they need to?
Yeah, I think it's a fine line because what you have to do is first, he's been shooting that way his whole life. So what we wanted to do was just let him play his game, let him shoot the way he's been shooting, and hopefully, they'll go in. And so we're not going to mess with it. We're going to let him shoot and play his game. And if after the season he's not shooting well, then we'll sit down with him and say, hey, let's maybe look at a different way, or let's try to improve the way you are shooting. What is it that caused you not to shoot well? Is it your balance? Is it the fact that you didn't release it well? So we can break it down with him, but we don't want to mess with his shot. He's proven that he's knocked that shot down, and we want him to encourage him to keep shooting. And like I said, against Milwaukee the other night, he had 2 or 3 of those go in, 3-pointers. So maybe it's coming back for him now. And also we have to remember something. They're playing more games in terms of these rookies than they've ever played in their life. And I'm talking about in a week. They may play 3 games in a week. So also we're talking about dead legs too. So I think once he gets into shape, his legs get used to playing this many games in a week that they don't play in college, then I think he'll be okay.
Talking to Magic Johnson, the Lakers president of basketball operations. Another kind of a general question. You mentioned some of the guys, Kuzma's 22, Ingram 20, Ball 20, young players. So young players now in professional sports and in the NBA, back when you were a young player to the young players now, give us some of the biggest differences of players, the youth of professional athletes today, with all the outside noise involved of social media and just the differences of when you were a young player to now?
I think you just said it right there. It's two things. It's social media and everybody having a voice. When you and I played, only the stars had a voice, right? And all the media just ran to them and quoted them. And now, because of social media, everybody has a voice. So now, as a president, I got to monitor 15 guys, what they're doing on social media, what they're saying. And then guys today really care about their brand. And so you and I didn't know what a brand was when we played. We just went out there and played and tried to be the best player we could on a nightly basis. And so now, we have that as a factor as well. I think, and then last but not least in basketball, and you can tell me more about football, when I played, probably 3 out of 100 shots were three-pointers. Now, 40% of every shot out of 100 is a three-pointer. Mm-hmm. And so now the game has really changed where you used to go inside out. Now you go outside in. And so I think those are the biggest differences in terms of what I went through and what today's player goes through. And now if you're a big man, you got to have a jump shot now. You got to have be able to go out to the three-point range. And if you can't, it's hard for you to play in our league today.